All right, fire them up!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Genre of Your Life podcast, a show all about movies, TV, and the genres that define us. This is episode number 54, everybody. I am one of your hosts, Doug Jones. With me, as always, are my amazing co-hosts, two of the best people in the world, and two of my best friends. First off, we have the one, the wonderful, the incredible. It's Mr. Nick Johnson. How's it going, Nick?
Man, not too bad. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Back with my boys, man. I want to thank you again for another fun-ass screening last night. We saw Twisters last night, and I'm telling you, if you can see a movie with either Nick Johnson or Moses Lawley, you were in for a great treat, because these guys are the perfect movie-going buddies ever.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Doug.
Of course, man. And last but not least, back for two, Mr. Hollywood himself. It is the one, the incredible, the wonderful, the amazing. It is Mr. Moses Lawley. How's it going, Moses?
Hey, what's going on? I'm glad to be here. Ready to get it. I'm ready to get going. Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir. We're glad to have you back, man. Again, man, the founding father right here, Moses Lawley, and of course the other founding father, Nicholas Johnson. But and right now, Joe wanted to be here, but fortunately he has tooth surgery. So wishing him speedy recovery, and he'll be back probably in a few weeks. But I'm here with two of the best dudes on the planet right here. But of course, you all are here too, our lovely audience. Thank you so much. First off, we want to thank you guys. We just crossed 3,000 followers on Instagram, which is really cool. Really cool.
Let's go.
I posted our Out of Theater reaction today for Twisters, as well as our a little screening vlog. And then for some reason, it's one of those movies. I don't know, maybe it's Anticipation, maybe it's Glenn Powell, maybe it's Anthony Ramos, maybe it's Addie Gator-Jones. But when you have a movie this kind of caliber and people are into it, for some reason they're following, their TikTok or Instagram, whatever, the hype for something is really, this is pretty real. So we want to thank everyone who's been following us, growing our socials. Right now our Instagram kind of is our heart of the show with our reactions, as well as our posts about here and there, some memes here and there. But thank you all for getting us to 3,000 followers, which is incredibly humbling. We love doing the show. One of the biggest honors of our lives, but for us getting from 2,000 to 3,000 today was a huge deal. So thank you. We see you. We recognize you. Keep on subscribing. Share us with your friends and family and whoever. And of course, you always find the show right here on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music. We also have a full audio show on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Midway Avenue Productions. If you ever see a video that's not fully full episode, for some reason our RSS feed kind of might have a buffering issue, don't worry, I'll back it up via YouTube. So thank you for letting me know. Last week I was posting our review of something. It might have been our last week's episode, and the full episode wasn't playing, but YouTube has a backup now, which is really cool. So thank you for noticing that. Again, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, or whatever, please subscribe, rate, review the show. Your feedback means the world to us. Negative, good, neutral. We want to hear from you all. All press is good press. So again, share it with your friends, family friends, movie fans, podcast fans, whoever, janitor, uncles, aunts, preachers, principals, whatever. We do appreciate the support, the ongoing feedback, just the love from you all. We love doing this show, like I said. So again, subscribe, rate everything. But also, too, for our Apple Podcast listeners, we really do need your help getting more ratings on Apple Podcasts. Our goal is to get 200 ratings. When you do more Apple Podcast ratings and reviews, the more coverage you get, the more kind of more coverage and more kind of just opportunities for screenings and events and press stuff here and there. Even press merchandise, stuff like that too. So please, for all you Apple Podcast fans, please help us get 200 ratings on the app as soon as possible. And also to our YouTube subscribers, keep on subscribing. We know you love our Expendables 4 reaction for some reason. It's growing every day more and more. Don't know why, but you know what? We love that you love it, and that's all that matters. So keep on subscribing, rating, reviewing. We truly appreciate all the support, the feedback, and just listen to us every week. We love doing this. So thank you for the ongoing support. We do appreciate it. And before we begin, I want to shout out these two guys right here. Yesterday I lost our first family dog, Addison-Grace, who was an amazing dog. We had her 8 years, moved out here to AZ in July of 2016. We adopted her in August 2016. She was my first dog, and I want to thank these guys right here for being here for me. Life is hard, and life is hard. We've lost a good friend of ours 2 years ago, Julia, and life's hard. But when you're around good people like these two gentlemen right here, you remind yourself how life is so good, and how you're with people that care about you, who are just good friends, good brothers, good people. You win in life. I think that's better than the lottery. That's better than anything in the world. Another thing too, I read a quote a few years ago, was that if you're friends with someone for more than 5 years, you're not friends. You're a family. And I love both these guys so much, and they're my family. They're my brothers. And I wanted to dedicate this episode to my first doggy, Addison-Grace. We miss you. Thank you for all the good memories. And I know one day I'll see you again. I believe the dog's purpose thing. I think one day she'll come back to us in a different form, or different form, different dog. But I do believe in that. So I wanted to get this episode to her and all the good memories we had with her for 8 years. And thank you, boys, for always being there for me.
Yeah, we got you, man. We love you, bro.
Man, love you guys too. But on that note, let's get into some movie news, obviously. So the big thing that dropped this week, first off, we're a week away from Deadpool Wolverine, so that's really exciting. But in lieu of that, they dropped the trailer for Captain America Brave New World, correct? That's the name of the new sequel?
That is correct.
Yep, that is correct.
And that dropped, I believe, right after we hopped off the air last week, so we're now covering it. I'm gonna ask you, Moses, right away. So obviously, Captain America is the fourth installment now. Obviously, Sam is now played by Anthony Mackie. He's now picked up the mantle. If you saw Falcon and Winter Soldier a couple years ago, kind of shows like post Endgame with both of those guys. Cap's two of his best friends. The trailer dropped on, I think, Friday or Saturday, or whatever. What were your thoughts about the trailer overall?
Yeah, so they had dropped the teaser trailer, the Captain America Brave New World, and one thing I gotta say is, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. I wasn't too sure. I was a little bit iffy in the beginning, on about not really, not on Anthony Mackie taking on a mantle or whatever it is. I wasn't, I knew he was going to do a good job with that, but just the whole entire film in general, because of the amount of reshoots that they had to do,
yes. Mm-hmm.
And how long it took them to basically complete the whole entire project, and how much money they had to spend overall to make it. I think it's over like 290, I think 300 mil.
That's correct. Yep.
So, but when I watched the teaser trailer and everything, I was like, wow, okay, there's definitely might be something here and everything like that. And just seeing, Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson's character, you literally take on this character. I'm excited to see what he does without having any superhuman strength. You know what I mean? Maybe he does, but it was really cool seeing how his wings develop and how he's able to literally, go I think he's able to go Mach speed now. From
he broke the sound barrier in that trailer.
Yeah, he broke the sound barrier and everything like that. Being able to see that and how his wings develop and how he's able to move in the air is really cool, and I'm excited to see what he does. When the film comes out and everything like that. I know it's just a teaser, but I was excited to see Red Hulk too as well. We haven't got that kind of sort of Hulk in a very long time. We got Smart Hulk, but we need Hulk that's just about breaking shit. Excuse my language. And yeah, I'm excited to see what they have, what they got going on. I'm excited to see what they might have on the second trailer when it comes out. But no, it was it definitely wrangled me, into being more excited, for the project. It's funny because I'm more excited for this film. So sorry for y'all. I'm sorry. Maybe I will be excited when it comes out. I'm more excited for this film than Deadpool and Wolverine for some reason.
Oh, wow.
Because I know what to expect with Deadpool and Wolverine,
Okay.
and everything, and because I know it's going to be a comedy. I know it's going to be about Deadpool and Wolverine doing all these crazy things, and and tagging people along to do all these crazy things, and everything. And with this it's like a little bit of a sci-fi thriller kind of, and I'm excited for that. So, I just know the outcome. I feel like I just know the outcome more with Deadpool and Wolverine than I do this. So, yeah. But I'm pretty sure when a movie comes out, Deadpool and Wolverine, my hype is gonna be crazy and off the roof. This happened before. Doug and
I remember.
Nick knows about this,
That's right. I
so
remember.
it's nothing new.
I remember. I think you're also managing your expectations too. I think that's really smart of you. I think sometimes we get in our head for even No Way Home, like, oh, we're gonna see John Wick. It's like, okay, relax. You're not seeing that. We're gonna see Shrek in No Way Home.
Was going crazy for a little bit.
I think same thing with Deadpool and Wolverine. To your point, Moses, is that like people are like, we're gonna see Batman in this. It's like, okay, calm down. It's probably a Batman joke because it's breaking the fourth wall, but we're not gonna see like, I don't know, Christian Bale or Ben Affleck in this. We're gonna see it's gonna be a Marvel thing. But you never know. So I know what you mean. I know what you mean about kind of just like not feeling it until you get there, or even week of. Again, I remember Infinity War, same thing. Infinity War, I think we were nervous, but we were excited, like as you just said. But I think with Endgame, we were like, oh my god, we can't wait, because we were invested in this movie that came out a year before, i.e. Infinity War for Endgame. Nick, I'm gonna ask you too. So we talked about a little bit on Saturday when you came over, when we worked out, but like, what were your thoughts of the trailer overall for Captain America: Brave New World?
Like, I kind of didn't really know what to think about it. But also, there's this YouTube channel that I watch sometimes, and they said, like, when we went to like Comic-Con or whatever, like this was the footage that they showed. So it kind of, like, in retrospect, what I listened to them describe, like, was the stuff in the trailer. So I think it was kind of like not necessarily like as surprising. Like, there was still some cool shots in there. Like, I'm excited to see how Anthony Mackie handles like being Captain America. I'm excited to see that. They had that last shot with Red Hope. That was cool, but I'm kind of like, I don't know, Marvel, because y'all have gotten me excited for movies before, but then like when I watch them, sometimes, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it kind of like it leaves a bit to be desired, so I'm hoping that this isn't one of those movies. Like, I hope they don't just try to like emulate also like what the Russo brothers did with the Captain America movies, because I'm like, it's a different director, so just like do your own thing with it, you know what I mean? So like, I hope I hope it's not like Russo brothers light, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
but,
I follow.
And I heard some rumors about it, which if they're true, like I would be really excited to see that. But no, like overall, like I'm excited, but I'm just like slightly hesitant with it. It just because of the way Marvel's kind of been lately. But so it's like I'm hopeful though.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with both of you guys. To emulate what Moses said too, I'm gonna go back to that. Is that I'm kind of worried too, because the big thing we keep hearing about, the higher ups at Disney and Marvel, is that like you got to get your budgets under control. So I think, again, I love Anthony Mackie, but I don't think Winter Soldier was a 300+ mil plus marketing distribution. I think Civil War was more expensive because they had a bigger cast. You had RDJ, you had everyone, you had Chadwick Boseman, you had Scarlett Johansson, you had Chris Evans, you had all these people, Don Cheadle, and so I feel like you had a bigger budget for that because of the cast. I get that, but 300 mil for a Captain America movie. And then again, when people complain the past couple of years, last summer, good example, the big budget movies, they were not doing well. I'm sorry. Indiana Jones flopped, lost them a lot of money. The Flash flopped, lost them a lot of money. Fast made money overseas, but not so much in domestic. So last year people were saying, stop spending all this big budget, these inflated budgets on these movies, because you're losing your quality more than you're losing your quality. It's like, hey, go back to like a decent sized budget. You don't have to spend all this money on here and there, whatever. Use real locations, be practical, whatever. Because again, I think you're losing the audience when you're doing a huge cluster CGI fest. And again, it's a year. I also find it kind of surprising that the trailer got released so early, when we're like 7 months out of this movie. I guess trying to build hype from Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, before you see Deadpool and Wolverine, here's a trailer for Brave New World. I get it. You're marketing your own brand. But also to Moses' point too, that you hear reshoots. They're normal for the most part, but we think back to like i.e. Suicide Squad or other movies that are like in The Flash, is just like we heard so many rumors about reshoots and reshoots and more stuff that feel like most of the time it's just kind of like shots here and there, or even the Justice League theatrical version. When you hear all these stuff about reshoots, you're kind of worried about like what are they what are they changing, what are they kind of like, what's going on? Because again, for a budget like that, before marketing and distribution, and then even after that, you're looking at almost, because marketing distribution always matches the budget. You're looking at 500 to 600 mil for a Captain America movie, and that has to break even over like at least make $1 billion to break even, because you're not making that money back if you don't make it domestically either. So it's just, I don't know. It's the trailer. The trailer to me though, overall, I was like, ooh, this looks kind of cool, very Winter Soldier-esque. Yeah, I'm a big Anthony Mackie fan. Come on, Papa Doc, 8 Mile. He's a great actor. I love him as Falcon. I think he had great chemistry with Chris Evans and Sebastian Stan. But for some reason, I don't know about you guys, I didn't like Falcon and Winter Soldier the way I wanted it to. I was like so hyped because I was one of the writers of John Wick. I was like, ooh, okay, here we go. And it was all during COVID
some
too.
of it to me was kind of like, I don't know about that player.
Yeah, right. It was very, I'm not gonna say CW, but it was very kind of almost like Disney Channel-esque at times, where it was just like, where are we going with this? And it felt like you have Anthony Mackie and you got Sebastian Stan. Like you have two good actors. You're bringing back Zemo too. Like make it a cool revenge story from like Civil War, not this like cult type thing going on. And I don't know. And then listen, I like Wyatt Russell, but the whole Captain America thing was this very like a fanboy's wet dream in a way. Like I don't know, like it was just like what's going on here? I think if it was like a two kind of just like buddy cop, like those two, like a revenge against Zemo, that would be really cool. Okay, I want that kind of story. But they kind of like lost its kind of like feel with like BC storylines and not so good villains, stuff like that, where I was like, oh, I wanted more from this because I love these actors so much. Also, you're following up Endgame. So I was like, oh, okay. But I agree though with you, Mose, a lot where it's just like it concerns me a bit where I'm like the budget and hearing the reshoots upon reshoots upon reshoots. It's like, what were you guys filming? Were you guys filming some like really cool stuff, or just a lot more VFX and more kind of just like inflated budget kind of things? It's just like, oh man. Like,
yeah, I mean, one thing I gotta throw in there and everything like that is that I hope that there's at least 50% of the director's vision in there, or even 30%. You know what I mean? I hope that's still the case. Because I heard about this director and he did some really, really good work and everything. Literally just before the Russo brothers, I didn't know about these guys before like Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I don't think anybody heard about the Russo brothers at all. I didn't.
Nope.
So it's like I hope that this director has his vision in this story. And to be honest, I'm excited for this kind of like thriller-esque film along the lines of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, because coming from Deadpool and Wolverine, that's going to be just straight comedy after comedy. I want to separate from that and go to something that's a little bit more, different. You know what I mean?
A little bit more serious.
Yeah, a little bit more serious. And I heard there's going to be a lot. It's going to be a few cameos, in Captain America: Brave New World. So I'm excited for that. It's kind of like, I heard it's going to be like Avengers, like 1 point or even like 0.5, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, follow. Yeah, totally.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm definitely excited. I hope that they don't, when it comes down to the marketing budget, I hope it's not, it's not like it doesn't match their, production budget of 300 million. I hope it's just like 1 million. I mean, I hope it's just like 100 million. That's it, but if it is 300 mil matching their production budget, well, shit, they're fucked. But but it should be at least like 100 mil. You don't need that much money, to market a film like that.
You don't.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. You know, I like switching tones when it comes down to Marvel films. I don't like it being the same tone every single time. You know, and I hope that's the case with their strategy moving forward. You know, because it's like after this buddy comedy film with Deadpool and Wolverine, 'cause that's what it is. Um, you go to more of a serious tone, and then after that, you go to another sort of like comedic relief, which I think is a Thunderbirds, Thunderbirds film, which is which is also kind of like a which is also very kind of I'm getting the feeling it's going to be very much more towards like the comedic realm too as well, kind of
Right.
not very like comedic, but you there's going to be uh, a huge amount of comedic aspect to the film too as well. So, a comedic tone, excuse me. And but yeah, man, I'm excited for Marvel and the projects they have because it's giving me hope um for for them in general. So yeah.
I think what they're doing too, and I agree with you 100% too, is like the different tones of everything. Also, I think what they want to do with, I think they believe in Deadpool and Wolverine, hence like really good early reactions, really good kind of just like word of mouth, a lot of hype, a lot of buzz. Again, it's the only Marvel film coming out this year, which is very smart of them because again, last year with the Marvels and then Guardians of the Galaxy and all those shows, they weren't. I mean, they weren't really hitting the way they used to be,
Yeah, they
and
definitely needed to just tone it back a little bit.
they needed a reset. And I think Bob Iger, I think Kevin Feige, I think a lot of the heads at Disney was like, pull back a little bit, pull back a little, because you're not the MCU that you were, the phase three of Black Panthers and
Mm.
Infinity War and Endgame and all these great movies. It's like pull back a little bit so you can rebuild. And I hope, at your point too, I hope they really like those reshoots were needed for like really good like good story material, really good kind of just like character moments for Sam or the villain, whatever. Because I know a big tie in this will be Incredible Hulk with like Tim Blake Nelson and Liv Tyler, stuff like that. So you want to really kind of bring that to fruition, but also too is that don't lose sight of like your character or whatever. Because again, if you have a great character but not a good movie, you're gonna lose your audience again. Again, i.e. Indiana Jones, Isle of Destiny. Not a terrible movie, but at the same time, is that like it felt like an Indiana Jones movie, but it felt more like a Disney studio movie than like a good character movie. And again, it's the same thing even with the Crystal Skull. Like you want to go back to the days of like what made Winter Soldier so special. It was a character driven movie, but with sci-fi a little bit and political drama, thriller. That's what you want to go back to. To your point was doing different genres, genre bending or genre mixing. Because again, you want to bring something fresh. And again, you have a great actor, Anthony Mackie. You have a great character story. Bring it to fruition. But again, as we're all connected to the industry, we can't help but not worry about the huge budget, and the huge budget and the huge kind of just like all the reshoots because it's worrisome. It's worrisome because we've heard stories about reshoots so many times where it's like, oh no. But I got faith. I got faith a little bit in it for sure. Again, I think it's gonna be. I think that if they can figure out like their groove again, we're in for a good movie again. And I have faith in Anthony Mackie for sure. I just hope that they can deliver kind of like or live up to his version of Captain America and kind of make him kind of like the Captain America that we need right now. So, yep, here's the hope, right? Here's the hope.
Yeah, there you go.
Here's
There
the
you
hope.
go.
And
Here's the hope.
before we do our reviews tonight and everything else, I want to bring up this too, real quick, because this broke today too. And it's about the Russo brothers. We all, all three of us, we all love Endgame and Infinity War and Winter Soldier and Civil War. How do you guys feel about what if the Russos come back to do the next two Avengers movies?
I'd be down for that low key because they haven't made a bad Avengers movie so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it would just like they would be dope, and I would love to see them do Secret Wars, especially.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like on the other hand, part of me was kind of wanting someone else to do it. Like I would like to see
Same
someone
here.
else handle it and do their own spin on it. And because I think I heard that at one point the guys that did the Loki finale and some of Moon Knight and this other movie called The Endless, like apparently like
Oh
they were
yeah.
in consideration, and Ryan Coogler I think was in consideration at
Sean
one point.
Levy.
Sean Levy. like I would love to see a Ryan Coogler Avengers 5 and or sequel or Wars. I feel like that would just be incredible.
I think Ryan Coogler would do a good job with the X-Men. I'm just putting it out
Oh
there.
no, that would be dope.
Ooh,
That would be
Yeah,
dope.
I think he would do a
yeah,
really good job with the X-Men and everything.
that's
But
right.
yeah, I mean, my opinion with it is, I'm definitely game. I definitely am. For some reason, in my mind, like some other directors that I had in mind that I was like, they should definitely get them. Were the Daniels from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Ooh,
I
okay.
saw,
Mm.
because it's like I saw that and I was like, well, there's definitely action in that film, so I'm pretty sure they know how to handle that, and they're younger too as well, so they definitely have, fresher ideas, too as well, and it's two directors, so and yeah, but they haven't, completely signed off yet that that the Russo brothers are gonna come back for it. But if they do, and I feel like they're gonna make an announcement about it uh during Comic-Con,
Mm-hmm.
who's gonna be the actual directors, I'm pretty sure. But if they do, I'm excited because what Nick basically already said is that they haven't made a bad Avengers movie yet. So
Nope.
just don't make your next one bad, and we good. Chilling.
Yeah,
Just make
don't fuck
sure.
this up, Russo brothers. If you get it,
Just
if you're listening, appreciate you.
and I know they're not gonna mess it up and everything like that because they really handle these characters with care because I remember in Avengers Infinity War, the Russo brothers literally went to every single director that directed every single Marvel film and asked them for their opinion about the characters that they had directed. With Ryan Coogler, um, with Favreau,
Mm-hmm.
the director, what's his name, Thor, Love and Thunder,
Taika
Taika
Taika.
Waititi,
They
James
Waititi.
wanted Taika
Gunn.
too as well. It's like they went to all of these directors and asked for their opinion on the character that they directed, and made sure that they threw on a lot of influence based on what they basically had, and everything. So yeah, so they really do handle the characters with care, and I'm excited about that. So I know it's just gonna have to do all it comes down to is just money, because they're gonna want more money, and let's see if Marvel's gonna budge and give them more money. So
We'll see. And I do think that like they need this too. No offense to their films post Endgame, but I don't really care for Cherry personally. The Gray Man was cool. The Gray Man was fun. It was really a fun popcorn flick. Again, Netflix movie. Great cast. That was a lot of fun. I'm trying to think what else too. I haven't seen the Extraction movie. I heard they're kind of fun too, and they wrote and produced those ones. Um, they've had good luck with producing. Obviously, they produced Everything Everywhere All at Once, which won an Oscar. So like they definitely have luck with producing post Endgame. But I think directing wise, like their films and shows haven't really kind of like got to audiences. So I think if they can go back and kind of just like do these again, they know how to manage scope, they know how to manage huge casts, like really big casts, as we all know. And to your point too, if you work with other filmmakers that were still working for Marvel, you can kind of work with them, collaborate with them, get the best project possibly. So I think if they brought him back, but what's funny too is I think a few weeks ago, Nick, you and I covered that they were denied that. Remember? Like we read
Hmm.
an article that they were saying like no 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 no, Disney doesn't want to do it anymore. This was like on like the trades or like some kind of big source where they were like they did want to go back, but then they were denied. So now I was hearing that it's like no 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 no, they're coming back, maybe possibly. It's like I wonder what either changed Disney and the executives' mind, like hey, let's bring them back. 'Cause I feel like there was an article about them saying no 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 no, they're not coming back. We're saying no to them. But again, maybe it's because they have faith in these guys. Again, they know how to like manage scopes and big storylines. But I think what also I heard the problem was too was that every time they make a movie, their budgets go over and over and over and over. I
Hmm.
do think that Infinity War and Endgame are like two of the most expensive movies ever made, and they were way over budget because of probably salaries, whatever, or whatever annually. So I think that's kind of like I think Disney was kind of like, wait, we don't want to spend these budget on this money. But again, it goes back to what I said earlier about managing your budget wisely, do more character driven stuff, use VFX wisely, and make it feel real instead of spending 300 mil plus on these movies when we can all know they're done on via green screen. So why is it so expensive for these movies? Is it salaries, whatever? But again, a prime example I said a few minutes ago is that last summer's movies is a prime example of like, stop having these massive budgets. These movies are not making the money back. You're like, oh, it's a failure. If you have a decent sized budget, it'll make its money back. Just don't spend all this money on stuff that's not really needed. But again,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like it's like make it go back to the days of like 150 mil, good character stuff, good VFX. Don't rush your VFX, don't rush your visual effects people. Give them time, obviously. But again, I think a lot of us now we want to go back to like last week too, Moses, about practical effects, practical stuff, shooting on
Yeah.
location.
No. Yeah.
Feel real again.
If you're gonna do a massive budget like that, might as well go to the location. You got to shoot in location. You got to shoot in location instead of
You
using
have to.
blue screens and everything like that, because that's gonna make the film even better. You might think it looks the same with blue screen. Maybe it does, but the feeling is not gonna be there. And the audiences are becoming smarter, with that because of technology and how fast it's growing. So what Superman is doing right now, they're being very smart and going to these, like locations, like real life locations and everything like that, and they're filming in Cleveland, and I see them, and and I still don't know what the movie's about, even though it's like I see all these characters, I don't know story wise, I don't know what the movie's about, and some people might think it's spoilers or whatever. It's not really spoilers if you don't know what the story really is. I mean, it's Superman, right? But the whole entire arc of the story, you don't know what happens from Act 1 all the way to Act 3. So, yeah, go on to real locations. I miss real locations because I used to go literally online on Instagram and see all these like films, like even Transformers, right? Michael Bay's Transformers, like he shot like everything on location, like everything. And it's crazy. He's like how the hell do you shoot all of these, especially for Transformers 1 and 2? A lot of that is on location. He really went to Egypt and he shot that shit. It's crazy. So I hope that when it comes down to it, just shoot in location. Just shoot in location. If you're gonna make your movie, if the budget of your film is gonna be over 300 mil, $300 million, that's nuts. That's crazy. But yeah, I'm excited for them though. I'm excited for those brothers. We'll see what they got.
Yeah. I agree. It's sad. It's sad when movies from like 10, 15 years ago look better than what we got now. You're just like,
that's what I'm saying, right? It's crazy. it's like what? It don't make no sense, And you realize that those films really were filmed with so much care, Were filmed with so much care, and because you watch them, and you're like, wow, they really paid attention to a lot of things, even though it's like they didn't have that much to use, It's like you see Transformers films back in 2008, and you're like, damn, man, those CGI, those VFX, those are tough, those are tough. Like,
you would have some killer CGI was the Pirates trilogy.
Yeah, dude, Davy Jones
was insane, bro. Fucking what's his name? Gollum from Lord of the Rings, bro.
Gollum, Lord of the Rings.
That's what, man.
That shit was like 2001.
Yeah.
And to Moses' point, it looks better than a lot of movies do now, which is just kind of odd. Yeah. I think it shows that they're all just being like rushed and shit like that.
No, for real. It's like you got movies that are supposed to be handled with care, with exactly. a lot of
the problem. People don't care about these movies that they making no more, man.
That's the thing.
You're not wrong.
And people need to go back and realize that if you want your film to do good, you got to put in with as much care as possible. You really got to, because if you don't, well, people are going to realize it. The audience are going to realize and see it. Oh, it's like, oh, really? Oh, I guess this filmmaker didn't really care so much about this movie, because I see a lot of like continuity here or whatever, and And yeah, just handle it with care, and it's all good. And if you don't, well, shit, uh, if the movie fails, well, it's your fault, But
It's a risk.
um, yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm excited. I'm excited for Avengers 5. I know it's not gonna be about Kang anymore, which
Nope.
you could have literally, just get another actor, But
You would think.
Yeah,
hey,
they should have just went with that.
you could have just got. I mean, you've done it like 300 times before. It's like, like what's the difference now? You've done it with War Machine. You did it with, with
Hulk.
what's his name?
The
You did it
Hulk.
with
Yeah.
Hulk.
Hulk.
You did it with Hulk. You did it with Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And yeah, it's like, dude, just get another actor. You're good, But
I agree.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like, what's with all that? Like you set it up just to stop basically, which is kind of like, well, what the fuck?
yeah, I mean, one thing though is that if they do go different route, just say that somebody else is pulling the strings so that we can get along with our day,
Right.
you know,
I know, right?
and everything. It's like, oh, somebody else was actually really pulling the strings, and his name is Moses Lowry. Nah,
Hey, man, hire this man. Come on now. Y'all both in LA.
no, hire me, Marvel. I can.
I got you guys.
Please, I got you. I can literally
Marvel, he will fix all of your problems.
The man has ideas.
He's right here.
I have so much ideas, like for Miles Morales, I have so much notes on that thing. It's like, hit me up. But hey, man, hey,
Exactly.
We'll see in time.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to look at it.
Mm-hmm. And we'll see. Russo brothers, if you guys come back, man, don't let us down. We're counting on you. Don't let us down. I don't want to see no Cherry 2 type shit. I want a good. I want a good.
Yo, man. Yo, it's that movie, man. Like they were nitpicky. I heard. I was watching like an interview and everything like that, and Tom Holland was talking about how like, they were very nitpicky on his performance, on his acting, and and I don't think Tom Holland liked that very much,
I agree. I said when the movie came out, he was miscast. He was miscast. I don't think he was ready for that role yet. I think if you get someone with another actor, more of a seasoned actor, I would say. No offense to him, it would have been a better movie. But like when you watch it, you just feel like he's misplaced. Like you kind of feel like he's not really like this guy, and you only believe him as like this soldier turned heroin addict turned bank robber. It's just like I give him props for being something for trying something new. I know Joel loves that movie for some reason. I don't personally get it, but hey, good for him. But I said that like I think Tom Holland's a good actor, but that wasn't the role for him. It was kind of like the Russo was like, okay, get Tom Holland in here real quick. Probably was probably free to shoot it, whatever. But I think another actor could have played that part better, 100%, 100%. And it's not a good movie. I'm sorry. Again, I love the Russos. I love Tom Holland, but you can tell like this was just a mess of a movie, and they were just making something. But what were they making? I couldn't tell you. But it was just casting wise. If they had someone more of a caliber, more of like a seasoned actor, I think it would have been more of a better movie. Because again, I just didn't believe him in that role. If that makes sense. Yeah. So. Kudos to Tom Holland, but you know what? Keep trying, buddy. Keep trying. keep
no,
trying.
I mean he's definitely coming up and everything like that. So
100%. Very talented dude. Very talented guy.
Yeah, very talented.
Okay. All right. So moving on a little bit now. Again, for you, keep a non-spoiler. You haven't seen Longlegs yet, have you?
No, I'm not very good with horror. So okay. I try to stay away from that genre sometimes when I know movies. When I know some of those movies are kind of, out of my ballpark, there's some horror movies and I'm like, oh, that's great. I'm gonna go watch that. But yeah, I can go ahead and talk about it.
Which ones?
What?
Like which horror movies would you be able to watch?
I mean, it's like thriller horror. I can watch
Get
those.
Out type stuff.
Get Out,
okay.
The one we just watched, whatchamacallit, Quiet Place.
Yeah. Okay.
I can watch that. So, instead of it being fully horror, I'm more into more of a thriller horror kind of genre, and everything
Okay.
that I can, sit back and watch. And
Okay. I got you. I got you. I
yeah,
dig it.
but horror films are great. They're doing really good right now. They're killing it. They're killing the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
It's like more money to them because it's like they make a lot of money, bro. They
Yeah.
make a
And
lot of
Moses, you
money.
should check out Hereditary, bro.
I did. I stopped in the very 10 minutes.
Ah, Moses.
Yeah, yeah.
Moses.
I stopped
Moses.
after that, kid. To the audience and everything like that. I hope you've seen, Hereditary and everything like that. But it's just a spoiler warning. Warning. After the little girl gets her head kind of like, chopped off, I had to cut it away. I had to stop.
Not gonna lie, that shit was kind of wild. I
Yeah,
wasn't expecting that.
yeah. I was like, they say this ain't for me. You know.
I'm out,
But
chief.
but hey, I'm glad people love it. I'm glad people love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're,
Hell
we're,
yeah.
we're keeping non-spoiler for anyone who's seen it yet. 'Cause I know it did pretty well over the weekend. So if you haven't seen, again, keep it non-spoiler for everybody. Longlegs, this movie had this really kind of crazy marketing, really viral marketing for a very low budget neon movie. Neon's kind of like the adjacent to A24, very low budget,
Yo.
high concept, but very kind of just like out there kind of movies. Very original movies too. I give him props. Very original movies. And Longlegs was one that Nick texted me, "Hey, look at this thing," and I was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And but I was hearing, but he was telling me about it when we saw Bad Boys. I was hearing things about it from like other people, and I was like, "Okay, I'm very intrigued." So my mission was to like not watch any trailers or any marketing because of this movie, and it was like every time on YouTube, it was like Longlegs this. I'm like, nope, skip. I want to go in blind. I want to go kind of just go in with no expectations, obviously. So Longlegs is about in the pursuit of a serial killer. An FBI agent uncovers a series of occult clues that she must solve to end his terrifying killing spree. Again, keep it a non-spoiler. Nick, you and I saw it on Saturday. What did you think of Longlegs?
So I feel like it was really, really good right up until the end. The end for me personally initially left a bit to be desired, but other than that, like the mystery, like when you're following the main detective as she's like going through this case, it was really fascinating. Like you and I talked about it at the theater. Like it's like Silence of the Lambs meets Seven,
Mm-hmm.
which is really cool. But yeah. Like I liked it for that. I think I gave it like a C plus because like I liked it all like right up until like the end. The end I was just kind of like it just kind of felt like is that it, or maybe I just don't understand the ending or something. Like maybe I'm just missing something. But yeah, I think if the ending had a little bit more going on, then it would have been a higher score. But yeah, no, I liked it though. I liked it. And I see what you mean about the A24 adjacent because I was kind of
Mm-hmm.
getting those vibes too. But no, yeah.
We saw a lot of like some interesting trailers to movies before this one. Like we saw a couple. I was like, haven't even heard of this one before.
I gotta
Like,
refresh my memory, Doug.
like we saw the one with Trap. We saw the one for Trap. The one with M Night Shyamalan.
Oh,
And then
that
there
looks
was
good. I definitely want to see
yeah,
that.
that looks great. And then there was two neon ones. One was I can't forget the name of it, but the other one was about that. Remember like the about the prostitute that like marries that Russian guy, and
Oh yeah.
and you and I were like, all right. I mean, again, I'm hearing good things about things called Nora. The guy who did Florida Project and Red Rocket. People apparently love this movie, but the trailer, you and I were like, all right,
Yeah, because
like,
the trailer, I was like, I can't tell what genre this movie is, and it was just like the I guess like escalation of the story. I was like, this just looks like a crazy ass movie. Like I would watch it for sure, just to see kind of like how it all unfolds. But yeah, it was like this movie looks a little wild.
yeah. And we're like, oh, okay. But I forgot the other movie that we watched, the trailer we watched, and you and I both turned. We were like, huh? I forgot what it was. It was a
Yeah.
Neon movie. I forgot what it was, but you and I were just like, huh? Like, okay. And then one of the trailers, the guys behind us were like, man, that shit looks fucking crazy.
Yeah, there was this dude in the back, like a couple rows behind us. He was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
And it was just like, It was funny. It was funny.
And that's why it's so fun seeing the audience like that. You're just like, yo, what the fuck's going on? But yeah, so Longlegs, again, we were hearing amazing things about it. People were just raving about this movie. They were saying, oh, it's like the scariest movie they've seen in a long time, one of the best horror movies of all time, best like thrillers of all time. And so when I hear that and not seeing any marketing, any trailer for it, I was like, okay, you intrigued me a lot more. Like, what's the line from Django where he goes, "You guys intrigued me, now you have my curiosity." Something like that.
He was like, at first you had my curiosity, now you have my attention.
Yes, thank you. That's how I felt exactly. Where I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm a big Nick Cage fan, so I was like, also the son of Anthony Perkins, Psycho. His son did this movie, Oz Perkins. So again, a guy who's been in the horror genre most of his life. Obviously, Nick, you saw some of his movies before this one. What
would be cool? You know what Oz Perkins' next project should be? It should be I would trust him with the remake of Psycho.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Do like a Blumhouse type thing, low budget, keep it low, keep it simple. The house is still there on the back lot, Universal, so might as well.
Really? Yeah, you got to do it.
It's still there. Bates Motel is still there at the lot, so like you might as well make it more of like but put its own twist to it by playing homage to his dad. Be really cool.
Yeah.
Be really cool. Good idea, bro. I like that. I like that idea.
Thank you.
So I was very hyped for this movie because again, not watching in the marketing. I'll tell you what, I really liked the first, I would say 30 minutes. And then I think as the movie goes on, where I was like, okay, where are we going with this? It's definitely, I thought the pace for the most part was pretty good. I think there's times where it's like kind of stays focusing on certain things. You're like, okay, where are we going with this? But I agree with Nick for sure. It's definitely Silence of the Lambs meets Seven without a doubt. And I love both those movies, and I fucking love Seven. And I was just like, okay, cool. Like, where are we going with this? And I think, first of all, the acting in this, Nicolas Cage is great. Very disturbing, very creepy. I would recommend not seeing what he looks like before seeing this movie, because it's very like, what the hell? Blair Underwood, who plays the FBI director, great job. And Micah Monroe, who you might know her from It Follows, which I heard great things about that movie too. It's been on my list for like ever.
Oh, you got to see. I
know
it's incredible.
You raved about it when we were in college. I was hearing good things about it. I think my film school professor loved it too in high school. So like he was raving about it. So it's on my list for sure. I thought she plays really this blend of like Jodie Foster's character in Silence of the Lambs, Clarice, right? And I'm trying to think. It's definitely like this like not Jesse Eisenberg thing, but like just the way that Micah's character, moves, the way she kind of just like talks, the way she's very kind of like closed off. Like she has trauma, and she plays a FBI agent who has severe trauma and has kind of a dark past. And she puts that very well because the most of the movie you follow her, and it's very in your face of just like, oof, like this is very unsettling. The movie for sure is very unsettling, very eerie, very disturbing. But the whole time I'm like, people are saying this is like a horror movie or a scariest movie of all time. I'm like, I highly disagree with that because I'm like, I might have been disturbed, but never was like, oh, this is so like scary. I was like, it's creepy. But when people were tweeting like, oh my gosh, scariest movie of the past decade, oh my gosh, best horror movie of all time, I said, wait, what? Like, are we seeing the same movie? Like, wait a second. And to me, I think. What I talked about the other day, Nick, on Instagram about Double Toasted saying this, story progression was an issue, I think. Story progression.
Oh, that's right.
Story progression was like you were building towards something really interesting, and then to your point, no spoilers, when the reveal happens, you're like, wait, what? Hold up, wait, hold up now. And you're kind of like thrown off. You're like, wait a second, we were here, now we're here? Huh? And I had a problem. It felt like it was so rushed. Like something happens, a big reveal happens, something happens, you're just like, okay, and then it's like, hey, movie's over. At 10 minutes later, okay, movie's over. You're like, wait, no. Like, if you're gonna bring this up, give it more, let it cook more. Like have 20 more minutes, give us more explanation of that. But it was introduced, and then it just goes, okay, that's it, boom, that's what happens, and you're like, wait, hold up now. And I feel like if they kept the tone of what there was in the first half hour, it would have been a better movie for me personally. Where like if you really embrace like the kind of like the seven and like ooh like the clues whatever like and also like what Kevin Spacey was doing in Seven and what Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt had to like catch up on and find the clues whatever the deadly sins and everything. That is why it was so intriguing. But with this, it kind of loses that. It focuses on a bit too much of the serial killer, and then the reveal something. You're just like, wait, pause. Wait a second. So I think the movie kind of loses its focus and direction, or what I was liking of the direction, and then there's a whole genre 180, and you're kind of like, wait, it's about this now? And when you and I walked out, we were like, huh, why was this introduced so late, or why was this brought up to a point where it's like, huh? Because again, it's a pretty big reveal. Don't you agree? Of like what kind of like happens?
Like it's kind of like I can't quite answer that right now because I would have to like spoil it a little bit. But I do feel like because how you said it's A24 adjacent. I wonder if they were going for something that's a bit more like ambiguous. Because I remember when we were talking about it, it was like now that I think about it, I kind of think this, and this. You know what I mean? So I think it's like it was a little bit deliberate. So I'm wondering if like maybe, at least like me personally, like maybe I'm just looking at it the wrong way, and maybe that's why like the ending didn't really like satisfy like that.
Right.
But
I follow.
Yeah, because it's one of those movies where it's like, I think this kind of represented that, or maybe this is what was actually going on, despite what it may have seemed, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of feels like that.
I know what you mean. And again, I have to give this movie prop for being original, and it made a lot of money too, which I love seeing that. I love seeing this. I want this movie to do, again, we're never rooting for a movie to do bad, I think. Even if we hate something or don't like something, I feel like we always want original filmmaking to win. And this movie did a really good job with the marketing, keeping it very low key, as well as kind of like being very interesting in terms of like the genre. Also, I love that it was set place in the 90s. It was like a present day thing that like we went back in the 90s. You saw like the clues of like, there's a picture of Bill Clinton, how they were talking in the cars, whatever. And there are some very graphic stuff. There's two scenes I was like, oh wow, they're showing all this, like, oh my goodness. But again, I give that props to Neon for not kind of shying away from that, because it's not a big studio movie. This is more of an indie, more of like, again, like different, like more art house in a way film. But again, it felt very David Finchery at times. It felt like a David Fincher film. It felt very Denis Villeneuve at times, like very Prisoners-esque at times. And I was like, oh, I like the vibe of the movie a lot. I just didn't like how they executed the big reveal. And I do think that there's some Nicolas Cage. I thought he was really creepy, disturbing, but like he's kind of being Nick Cage a few times. We were like, okay, you're just being yourself. You're kind of just being yourself now. You're just kind of being Nick Cage, but this way, if that makes sense. So again, not having a lot of, again, being hyped for this movie, not knowing what to expect. I think I had a big narrative in my head. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be this, whatever. Like I said, the first half hour, I was like, okay, I'm sold. But as the story went on and it progressed, I was like, you're kind of losing me, and I just felt like I wasn't fully fulfilled when the movie ends, because it's so rushed at the end. It's so like doesn't feel like fulfilled or earned, if that makes sense. So I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. I think if you're a fan of these genres of these movies, again, I wouldn't call this a horror movie. This is more of a thriller, like definitely suspense movie. Horror to me, no, I'm sorry. Horror is like Michael Myers and Freddy, and I'm trying to think like Exorcist, stuff like that. That's horror. This is definitely thriller, suspense, mystery. Not so much a horror movie, if that makes sense. So. Yeah. But again, if you're fans of this fans of this genre, fan of good filmmaking, original filmmaking, definitely go see it. Again, I think it's worth paying the price of admission, because again, to support an original film like this. You know why? If this movie did poorly, it probably would have been like, okay, forgotten about. But again, it opens up the doors for Neon A24 to invest more of their money in original filmmaking like this, with good marketing too. I have to give this movie props for marketing. The marketing of this movie was great, from what I've heard and what I didn't see. Like the posters we saw last night at the theater, like the posters are very kind of like questionable. You're like, it gets you curious of like, what's this movie about? Like, what's this about? Whatever. So going for that, but props to the marketing team for not showing too much, but also keeping it very kind of close to the best. So definitely check it out if you're interested in that movie. But yeah, I'm giving that really a solid 6 out of 10 for sure. Not a bad movie, not a great movie. It was good. I'd say it was a very decent, good movie. I wouldn't rave about it though. So, which is now in theaters as of this past week. All right, moving on. Again, no spoilers, obviously. I assume our boy most probably see this movie this weekend, which is Twisters. Again, non-spoiler for everybody. Twisters. Again, if you haven't seen the original, you're in luck. You're fine. You do not have to see the original movie to watch this one. I watched the first one with my parents on Sunday. I had a lot of fun with it. It's very 90s for sure. Very Amblin. It's Universal. It's Warner Brothers. Very the big budget popcorn flick of the 90s. Ton of fun. It was the same summer as Independence Day, so like you definitely know like you were in for a treat that summer with like really kind of like a good popcorn flick. But Twisters is now, let's see, 96 was Twisters, so was it now 28 years now since the first one? So that's 20 years since the first one. So Twisters is about a retired tornado chaser and meteorologist is persuaded to return to Oklahoma to work with the new team and new technologies. Nick, my friend, as someone who's not seen the original Twister, what'd you think of Twisters as a movie?
I'll tell you what, man. I don't typically like natural disaster movies like that, but this movie was really fun to watch, and it was kind of like a fun ride going with the characters into this whole like, studying how to like take down tornadoes type thing and stuff like that. Like that was really cool. It was I don't want to spoil it, but there were a couple of really cool visuals that added a bit of a spark to the movie for me. I thought the chemistry with all the actors was really good, but they did this thing where it's like they kind of lean a little romantic with some of it, and I was just like, nah, I'm not feeling that. I don't feel like I get it kind of, but also I feel like you don't need to lean that route like every single movie, but otherwise like it was cool though. I would give it a solid B. I liked it a lot. I had a lot of fun with it, and yeah, like I would definitely watch this again. I would probably buy this movie. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
I'm with you, man. And I said our reaction last night, I told this to Lee as well, that I like this movie definitely more than the first, for sure. I think maybe because it's like our generation, like this is our big blockbuster movie of the summer. I think to me, like this is a perfect blend of VFX and practical. Moses, when you see this movie, bro, you're gonna be blown away by the VFX. But dude, a lot of this movie is practical, bro. It's practical. Like there's actual locations, real sets. They're on location in Oklahoma, like real buildings. It just felt like a real movie. You're just like, finally. And this movie has a pretty big budget. I think 200 mil before marketing distribution. That's a pretty big movie, pretty big budget for this movie. But just how the movie looks, like it was so refreshing that like, wow, when we see these big, tornado scenes and twister scenes, you're just like, this feels like a real life. Like it wasn't like, again, there's definitely VFX used a lot, obviously, but it looks seamlessly. And shout out to all the VFX and visual effects artists in this team because it looks fantastic. But again, it shows when you can use the perfect blend of VFX and real locations, the movie looks better and you more invest to the story and the characters because you're not talking about green screen, bad VFX. Again, I don't want to shit on Furiosa like the movie, but the VFX in that was atrocious. You're just like, what are we doing here? Like, hold up.
No. Before you add on, one thing I do want to add, Doug. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, go ahead. Like that. Go ahead.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna go see it tomorrow at 2 or 3 o'clock. So, and one of the biggest reasons I'm gonna go see it because of the director. He directed Minari, and I trust him very much because when you bring in a guy who really understands, like the visual language and everything, like, it's the film is gonna be good, So I'm going it because of the director, and because of I love the original Twisters too as well, and
oh, nice,
yeah. So I'm excited for it. So.
If you love the first one, you're gonna love this one even more, bro. I'm telling you. While watching it, I was like, "Oh, Moses is gonna love this movie. You're gonna love this movie." And to your point, Lee Isaac Chung, who did this movie, also did Minari. I told Nick in the parking lot yesterday. I'm impressed with this guy because The only thing he done before this was Minari, and that's a very low budget A24 movie. And he was given a huge. Again, Minari had a budget of $2 million, $2 million, and this and Mandalorian and Twisters has a budget of $200 million. The fact that he went from that to this is remarkable. It's very admirable. As we're all aspiring filmmakers ourselves, it's admirable that like he did it seamlessly. Like it felt like as opposed to our reaction too is that this felt like a true Spielberg movie. Yes, he's producing obviously, but this one felt more Spielberg than the first one, if you ask me. Had a lot of Spielberg moments for sure. Felt even J.J. Abrams at times. There were certain things like, oh, kind of J.J. Abrams movies a little bit, kind of like the big spectacle of everything. But again, the fact that Lee Isaac Chung went from $2 million budget movie to $200 million budget movie seamlessly, like a pro, speaks to him as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, as a creative. I think he's also from Oklahoma too, so it's cool to catch on in his hometown, which is really cool if you ask me. But it's a fun movie. This is why we go to the movies, honestly. It's a fun popcorn flick. It's a ton of fun. It has a great cast. Anthony Ramos is great. Daisy Edgar Jones is great. Glenn Powell is great. All of them have great chemistry. But to Nick's point too is that the romance, I thought the romance worked better than the first movie I think the romance in this works better than this movie than the first one. I think Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton's romance in the first Twister didn't feel like fleshed out. I felt really stiff and not so much chemistry. The chemistry in this is way better, but to Nick's point too is that the love story was kind of like it was there, but it wasn't kind of like fully like developed, wasn't kind of fully fleshed out. But like it was definitely more believable in this one than it was with Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton. Again, also a big Anthony Ramos fan too. But I'll tell you what, we saw our boy David Cornswood in this too. This was kind of our first kind of like Superman movie. It's funny. We walked out and Nick was like, "That's Superman. That's Superman. That the voice. The voice got it down."
And this is the first movie I seen him in, so
same here.
It was a little extra cool.
Same here. And what I love about this movie especially is that yes, Anthony Ramos is great, Glenn Powell is great, Daisy Edgar Jones is great, but Lee Isaac Chung gives everyone their moment to shine. The minor characters, both on Glenn's team, on Glenn's storm chasing team, on Daisy and Anthony Ramos's team, everyone, no matter small character, what's his name from Nope? I'm butchering his name again. Brandon, I think Pereira is his name. He was the IT guy in Jordan Peele's Nope. Yeah, Brandon Pereira. He's given his moment. He's like, he goes, twins, we got twins. Like, also call back to the first one. We got cows. But everyone, David Cornswood gets his moment. Everyone on Glenn's team gets their moment. It's so cool when a director and a storyteller can like really give everyone their moment, despite not having a big role or major role, even a small character's role. Everyone gets the British journalist guy gets his moment for sure. The girl with the drone gets her moment. The two people in the RV and Glenn's team gets their moment. Like every minor character has their moment, no matter how big the role is, and it's really cool to see a filmmaker kind of like give everyone just the MVP moment for sure in a movie like this. It's really cool to see that. It's a ton of fun, great cinematography. Again, great VFX, great score, very Spielberg-y at times. But again, it's a throwback to movies that we grew up on, of the '90s, action movies, or in the 2000s action movies, where like went to the movies to have a fun time, and this movie is a fun time. I will say though, a few things I had issue with. I thought the pace was kind of it dragged a little bit, or it kind of just went on a little too long. In certain elements, certain parts, I would say. I do think, I'm big about stakes in movies. Like, if something happens, or like this, again, with you, Nick, I'm not a big disaster movie fan at all. Like, I only care about I like the movie 2012. That was kind of fun, back in the day. But like, I'm not rewatching those movies or watching like stuff like Geostorm or Into the Storm type stuff like that.
Nah, man, disaster movies are the best, bro.
I remember in college. Yeah, I remember you saying that in college. Yeah, you love those movies.
Go ahead. Sorry about that.
No. I think it was like Geostorm was coming out. You're like, oh, can I see this movie? I was like, hey, what, man? Good for you, bro. This is for you. this is for you. Or
for some reason, man, I just love disaster films. I don't know why. maybe because of scope or whatever, because of scope of all of it. But
Okay, I'm not
it's
mad at that. I
yeah,
respect it.
yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I can go ahead and keep doing your thing.
No. So for me, like as a kid, I liked A Day After Tomorrow. I liked 2012, but I'm not really watching those as I used to. But I do like when movies have real stakes of like they're going to show like the outcome of these like storms and disasters. I think the movie definitely shows it a little bit, but there's times where I was like, I kind of wish the film took this direction in terms of stakes with characters, because it kind of felt like, oh, look at us, we can be anything, and it's like, yes and no. I mean, you definitely have like the technology, quote unquote, but I think the movie would have even had a more of an impact if there was higher stakes for certain characters, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Like the opening scene, obviously, is very intense. But just again, I'm not spoiling anything, but the movie theater scene, Nick, like you would think there would be more casualties in that scene. You know what I'm saying?
Like maybe because I feel like, well, no, because I like other. Oh man, see, because I can't say that because it will be spoilers again. But like I I hear what you're saying, but I'm like I respectfully disagree. I hear what you're
Okay.
saying, but I just look at it a little bit differently though.
Okay. Fair enough. Do you think that like if there was more like casualties, we probably would have been not invested in the movie anymore? Is that what you were trying to say? Like, because we're so invested in these characters, these storylines.
I I hmm, I think I'd say I don't know because I feel like there were a few. I feel like if it went more than a few, then at a certain point it would the casualties would get a little bit gratuitous. Because I feel
I
like
see what you mean.
the like you feel me like the few that we did see, it was like not like we spent a whole lot of time with these characters, but it's like they would be like on screen for like a few minutes. So you kind of have that almost not quite like attachment to them, but like because of just how long you see them, even if they're just in like the background or whatever, there's that sense that like okay they're probably gonna be fine or whatever. And so then like when all this shit's going on, you kind of like almost don't really expect it. So like you and as such like you feel like kind of like oh dang it was that character or whatever. But I feel like they did the right amount. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's
I
just like
follow.
okay
Okay.
let's just kind of like show just like a little bit of the consequences. That way also we're not like inundating the audiences with too much like heavy stuff. You know what I mean?
I see what you mean. Okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah, yeah.
I respect that. I think because you don't want to be gratuitous. You don't want to be kind of just like, oh, look, this thing happened. I get that for sure. I just think there was this certain thing at certain locations where you're just like, that person would not still be here, or that person would not, that person would not survive that, or you're in this vehicle and this happens, like you would definitely get more injured or more just severely hurt. So I was like, okay, so that's more like how I saw it, like certain is character or certain like situations in terms of like the storms. Um,
Hmm.
the ending I thought kind of just ended. Like it was definitely like it definitely kind of feel good ending for sure, but kind of felt like they kind of like hey, that's it. Where I was like, okay, that's, again more of a nitpick, but I was like, okay, if this happens, like okay, but then they want to tie it up nicely. Again, it's a fun movie. You want too depressing or too like, oh my gosh, it's a big spectacle summer blockbuster. But the ending I thought was like, okay. Another thing too, again, not spoilers, not spoiling anything, but there's a certain storyline that I thought it was forgotten, and I don't want to say what it is, what it is, but it has to do with someone who owns land. You know what I'm saying, Nick?
I'm really blanking on that right now.
Okay, I want to say it again. Not spoiler for everybody. There's a scene. There's a storyline where someone in Oklahoma owns a lot of land.
My bad. If it's gonna be like potentially spoiled, maybe we could just talk about it after the show.
Yeah,
Just
for
in
sure,
case like
for
someone's like,
sure,
oh man, I don't want
for
to.
sure. There's a villainous subplot. I'll say this. There's a villainous subplot that is brought up like heavily at one point, and it's kind of forgotten about. Like later on, you're like, well, you brought this up. You made a big deal of it, but wait, what? Again, I'm keeping it vague as possible. there's a subplot where I was like, oh, this, because in the first one, the first Twister, there's certain themes, certain like, okay, storms here, whatever. It's more about the storms and what's going on and like relationships with people. But in this one, the movie introduces like a villainous subplot where I was like, ooh, that's interesting. But they never ever act on it. It's very forgotten. Like, I would say halfway in, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And last night on the way home, I was like, oh, they never go back to that, or never kind of bring it up in terms of kind of just like the effect of it all. If that makes sense. But again, I won't spoil anything. But I thought that was kind of strange where they never brought it back. They never brought it back to the main storyline of like, oh, okay, well, what happened with that thing? But again, when you see it, you'll understand it. We'll probably do a spoiler conversation when Moses sees the movie too. So we'll save for spoiler talk. But overall, had a fun time with this movie. Again, it's why we go to the movies. It is a fun summer blockbuster. It's doing really well right now, review wise, critic wise, which is great. But again, if you love films like this, you love the big summer movies, you like the big blockbusters and the disaster movies and popcorn flicks, go see this movie on the big screen. It deserves the full price.
You just got it.
You just got it. You got it. Again, if this movie does not do well, again, I don't think the actors would be hurting as much or the director, or help the director. But again, this movie has to make money because it has a big budget. But again, it's a big budget movie that's rewarding. It pays off. Again, great visuals, great character moments. Again, this movie has spectacle and twisters and tornadoes. By the heart of the movie, it's a human story. It's a story about humans surviving and humans chasing. And if you feel it, chase it. But it's about kind of just chasing that passion and also just like never losing that passion when you're so is like dead set on something. It's your dream. It's what you're made, what you were born for. I love that the film, dives deep into like just chasing your passion and chasing what you believe in. So definitely that definitely struck home to me as a creative, as someone who loves movies. So I'm giving this a solid 8 out of 10. I think it's a great movie. It's a lot of fun. I liked it more than the first, but again, it is definitely worth the full price of admission. And I cannot wait to see how it does box office and see how Moses thinks of the movie too. Moses, if you love those movies, you know the first one, this movie is made for you in so many ways.
I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited to go see it tomorrow and everything like that. I'm gonna go see it at the, there's a premium screen that Rico has. So
yes, see it there.
Yeah, and I'm really excited. It's shot on film too as well, not on
Thank
visual.
You.
So,
yes.
That's also really exciting. And I'm definitely excited. This is one of my more exciting, films that I'm excited to see this year. In terms of like, summer blockbuster and everything like that, other than, Deadpool and Wolverine, of course. So, and, me, I love disaster films and everything. So I'm probably going to eat it up and be like, oh snap.
Hell yeah, you are.
Part of me was actually thinking about going to see it on, in like 4D. So,
oh wow!
Oh shit!
I say go
the storm.
There was a screening earlier today, and everything that I was like, maybe I should go see in 4D today, But I was like, I'm just gonna go see it in the premium screen instead. So, but yeah.
If you saw it on 4D, you'd be in those fucking storms. Like you'd be a storm chaser,
flying across the theater.
Bro, I was
thrown out of their seats.
Yo, on some real shit though, it's funny if you can do it too. Our publicist last night, the lovely Lee, was like, do the Twister experience after the movie, and
the wind tunnel.
The wind tunnel. If you can do it, Moses, bro, it's super fun. We recorded it last night. I'll put it on the channel tomorrow when we post our review. It's really fun. It's really cool. You go inside this little tube thing and you turn it on, and it goes. You gotta feel this wind thing. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Okay. All right. I mean, if they have it,
they fucking better. Come on, Universal. Come on, Universal.
But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to definitely see it.
It's a fun movie. Again, 40X, man. You'd be so brave. You'd be like, you feel the water, you feel the storms. You'd be like shaking.
I probably would. I definitely probably would for sure.
That's one where I wish I could have had that done for Top Gun, because because that would have been crazy.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah,
would
well,
be-
you can do it for Top Gun, 3 when it comes out,
Oh, there you go.
That
There you go.
also the F1 movie that they're doing with Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I saw the trailer, by the way. I saw the trailer for that, and I'm excited for that. That dude looks exactly like me. Don't know why they could
was it
Brad Pitt?
no Brad Pitt? No.
Moses,
come on,
you crazy.
Moses
man.
is
No,
he's our Brad Pitt.
I'm talking about Damson.
Dancing Idris, right?
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I was like, that guy looks exactly like me, bro. Just cast me in it.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
It's funny. Someone made a TikTok about him a year or two ago. It was like, I love when British people try to act like U.S. gangster are hard. Like, come on, man. He goes, sorry, mates. Like, and they kind of like cut like to his real voice.
They go from that to like, where's my money?
Mhm.
Where my money at? How was the take? How's the take, boss? Was it good?
Where's my tea and crumpets?
Oh my gosh.
But
Where's my tea?
I would love I thought it was cool to see him and Brad Pitt in the movie, but yeah, if you can see that in a 4DX, that shit would be crazy.
Yeah, 100%.
You'll be in that bitch zooming, bro. It's like oh my god, that'd be really cool. But before we end, anything you've been watching, Moses? Anything worth watching in the movies?
But it's funny. I went to go watch that movie. That one movie, Horizon.
Oh, what's the thing?
One of the few. I saw that movie.
With Kevin Cox. What did he say?
I said one of the few that actually saw that movie. You're one of the few.
I went to go see it because I was like, it's 3 hours. I'll be stuck in there. That's great. I'm let's get it. So I mean, I thought it was good, man. I was, it's funny because I was entertained, and you know me. It's hard for me to bash a movie, so
I know.
I was entertained. There's moments that were lagging, of course. There's some moments. It felt like this can be a miniseries.
I see.
It could literally be a miniseries if he really wanted to. They could have literally put this on Paramount, and he could have gotten way more eyes on this thing. He really could have, but he really wanted it to be on theaters. I mean, there's like 3 parts. That was only part 1, and it's funny because it's not really funny, but part 2 was actually taken away from the August release date. Part 2 was supposed to come out.
I saw that. That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know what's gonna happen to it. Maybe it's gonna go straight to digital, but I low-key feel bad for this, for Kevin Costner, because he this guy he poured his whole entire heart in it,
and his money.
Damn, shit,
That's tough.
I definitely enjoyed it. It could have been a miniseries if you wanted to, but it feels spectacle enough for it to be a movie, and everything. So, and I'm not really into I'm not really into westerns that much.
Yeah, same here.
So, but I watched this and I was just entertained, but it's the basic cowboy films and everything like that. But this had you follow different people within the story, which I really enjoyed, and everything like that. So it's not just about Kevin Costner's character or anything like that. It's about other people that are in this film that are a part of this, journey within the film. So yeah. So if you want to watch a 3-hour film that's currently out in theaters in your closest theater, go watch Horizon. If not, well, shit, I don't know.
You won't see part 2 anymore. You won't see part 2 anymore.
Hey, if it comes out on digital, I might check it out because I'm already invested in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
and he's filming part 3 and 4 right now, or he was.
No, I mean, I think he ends with 3, right? I'm pretty sure.
He said in an interview on Real Blend that he was shooting 3 and 4.
Oh my God, this is not Avatar, please.
Oh god.
No, not like that. But maybe that's what what's funny. Maybe that's what he probably wanted. He wanted a He wanted a
Western
avatar,
Avatar.
a Western avatar, you know.
Ay,
But
caramba.
That's mighty ambitious.
That's mighty
dude,
ambitious,
I mean,
bro.
business filmmaker. I mean, literally, when you watch it, you're like, wow, this is really good. Like, you when you really sit down and watch this movie, you're like, wow, this is actually really good. I thought it was gonna be like very low budget, you know, type of thing, but it's like, it's like it's really good, you know. Um, but yeah, definitely go see it, man. Definitely. Yo, why are you laughing, bro?
Because it's like no, because I feel like I feel bad for this movie because like I can't. Yeah, it got pulled from my local theater too. So like it got pulled already. Like even Maxine got pulled already. So I'm just like, what's going on now? Like everything's getting fucking pulled. Like
Yeah, I you know, it's funny because yeah, it got pulled. Literally, I went to go watch it. A week later, I scrolled. I have the Regal app and everything like that.
yeah, me too.
I scrolled and everything, and I was like, well, where's Horizon now? I'm not gonna go see it, but it shit ain't here no more. It was only like a week, you know, in a week, bro. But yeah, man, just you know, like don't judge a book by its cover.
Poor
You
guy.
know, when it comes to movies, go watch it. Um, you know, you don't know what you might get. So definitely a good
shame.
movie.
That's a
I
shame.
enjoyed it. I had fun. So
That's a shame. I mean, again, I'm a Kevin Costner fan as a you know as an actor, as a creative. It just sucks that like this man like mortgaged his house to make this movie, and the audience said,
damn,
yeah, nah,
did
bro.
he mortgage his house?
That's what I heard.
Oh my god.
I can't say for sure, but I heard do different interviews or podcasts where they're like, yeah, he mortgaged his house. So it's just
Oh
like,
man, that's crazy.
because remember also
Hopefully they were
too.
joking.
I hope it's a sad joke.
Very much, you know. But damn.
Yeah, enjoy that studio apartment, Kevin Costner. No, I'm kidding. But
Nah, this guy
rich,
probably still has money in the bank,
bro.
you know.
Fucking Yellowstone residuals. He's set for
Oh
life.
my god.
Man of Steel residuals. He's set for life. Like this man's
Dude,
eating. Yeah,
He's eating good.
this man can afford his Cheerios tomorrow. Like he's
You know, yeah. So he's definitely good. But it's funny because I mean he didn't spend all his money, but he spent a quarter amount of it.
yeah.
You know?
And
So,
also WB again. WB is doing the distribution. So like also they're like we're not spending our money on distribution for this. I'm sorry, man. So again, I can't fault them for pulling out too because I feel like they're still putting money on their end for distribution and marketing to a degree. Not as much, but
they should cut this. They should cut it and literally make it a mini series for it to just and if people want to, they should cut it and make it a mini series, but still put it out on theater. Like I
agree.
remember there was this one show called like I forgot, it was this religious show that people were actually going to go see it in theaters.
Was it The Chosen?
The Chosen. Yeah, people
really?
were actually going. People were going to go see it in theaters and everything, and I was like, "Why are you putting?" But hey, man, it worked. It was getting money too as well. I think it was like getting like $1 million a week, you know, and everything. I'm like, "Whoa, that's money in the bank."
That's money.
You know.
Damn.
So and yeah. So if they can do that, you know, and figure out a way to still put it in theaters and maybe cut it up, because they definitely can, man. Because this thing can easily be broken down into a miniseries very easily. So, but yeah, man, yeah, that's what I've been watching, and I also been watching Smallville. You know,
Hell yeah.
So me and Nick have been watching Smallville. If you know about Smallville, you know, big shout out to y'all. And yeah, I've been watching that. It's been fun. You know, definitely go see Smallville if you haven't heard of it. It's a really good show that follows Clark Kent's journey when he wasn't Superman just yet. So you follow him through his teenage years and through his like early kind of 20s and 19-year-old, him being a 19-year-old and everything like that. And yeah, it's a good show. It's also shot on film. I realized that show is shot entirely on film. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, that's it.
Right on. Well, on that note, we'll close the show with our one-on-ones. If you're new to the show or returning the show, what our one-on-ones are was created by Joel. We do a one TV show recommendation and one film recommendation for you to watch either in theaters or at home. Again, it's our opinion. If you don't like it, we understand. We're giving you just a underrated recommendation for you all. If you like it, awesome. If you don't like it, hey, that's fine. All film and TV is subjective. Moses, do you want to do another one-on-one? Was that your one-on-one for the week? Horizon and Smallville.
Yeah, I think that was my one-on-one for the week and everything. Actually, no. I can. There's.
Let's go. Come on. You got more. Yeah. You got more. Come on now.
Come on, Moses.
There's another film that I want to go see on theaters. I was able to see this movie called Sing Sing.
Ooh, I heard of this.
Yeah. Como Domingo. I went to they had a Q&A. Part of this program called Film Independent. And they basically showcase a lot of indie films and Q&As. So they had one for Sing Sing, and I went to go see it. And Como Domingo was there too as well,
cool.
Which was great. I got to see him talk about the whole entire film and the whole entire process of making this film. And it was great, man. It's not what you think. I mean, the movie is set completely in prison and everything, and it's about folks who are, trying to basically, find their humanity through this program in this prison, which is, a theater program in this prison. So, and, still trying to make sure that they still have their humanity by being a part of this sort of like a community, in that sort of like theater program and everything. So, yeah, it's a good film. It's a really good film. It might get, in a few months from now, you might start hearing some Oscar buzz for it. So, but yeah, and a show. I mean, still Smallville. There's so many shows I've been watching right now, but yeah, that's it.
Right. Yeah, I was hearing good things about Sing Sing. It comes out in August, I believe. Also, I love Colman Domingo. He's one of the best voices ever, too. I just love his voice. I just love his voice.
Right. Really good actor.
All right, Nick, you're up, my friend.
So for my movie, it's going to be a film called Mandy, starring Nicolas Cage. This is actually my favorite Nick Cage movie.
Okay.
It's just like this guy and his, I think, wife, and then this crazy group kind of comes into town and they kill her, and then it becomes like a revenge flick. But it's really kind of 1980s rock, psychedelic, like crazy shit. And Nick Cage in this movie just kind of goes all out, and just like visually, it's really cool. And it's one of those movies where it's kind of like, I wonder what this part represented, and it's like a lot of like symbology and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that. And yeah, like I said, it's my favorite Nick Cage movie of all time. And for my show, me and my lovely fiance Kaylin, we just finished How to Get Away with Murder. We just did the series finale a couple of days ago. And like, man, what an amazing show this was. Like, I feel like, because this is my first time watching it, I'm like, I should have just watched it when it was on, but I didn't. But like, I loved it. Like, it was basically just nonstop twists and turns, yet you never really. There were like a couple that I guess, which I was kind of proud of myself for, but like for the most part, it's like, man, like I never really know where the show's gonna go, and it's really fun. And Viola Davis just kills it as Annalise Keating. Like the entire cast kills it, but she just did a really great job with that show, and I liked how they showed her character arc throughout the series. Like she changes, but she changes in a way where it's like where it makes sense and it's like realistic for the character and everything like that. And it's just like the story just kind of like hits, So yeah, that's my one-on-one.
Good choices. All right, let's see. Got my little list here. I'm gonna go with a movie that I told you about last night. Nick, it is called, my movie of the week is gonna be, oh my gosh. Oh, Chain Reaction. Chain Reaction with
yes, with Keanu and Morgan.
Keanu and Morgan. It's fun. The other day I watched Twister with my parents on Sunday, and we talked about like 90s movies here and there. And my dad was talking about like, oh man, this is a great movie. I saw it back in the day. I love this movie. It's Keanu and Morgan Freeman, Chain Reaction. And my dad was so funny. He was just like, I would watch that movie in a heartbeat. It's on Max, and he goes, put it on. And so we watched it like after watching Twister on Sunday. We watched the entire thing, and it's a 90s movie for sure. Just movie chain reaction.
Yeah.
It's very Fugitive. Same director as Fugitive. Same like crew as a Fugitive basically. Keanu plays this whiz kid prodigy science energy science guy. And then one day their energy lab gets blown up, and two of the leads of the program get killed. And they frame Keanu as well as Rachel Weisz, and Morgan Freeman is also one of the heads of the program, and he survives. And it's a manhunt for Keanu like all over like Chicago and Wisconsin, and very very Fugitive for sure. But it's a fun movie. Again, I grew up in Chicago, so like seeing all like Chicago, seeing all like the 90s Chicago, all like the buildings and like the bridge and everything is like it's my where I grew up. So it's like cool to see like that like used as part of the plot, part of like the story. Again, very 90s, very like, oh come on, like very kind of the cheesy dialogue here and there, the corny one-liners. But again, it's a pinnacle of what made 90s cinema filmmaking so fun, over the top with stuff like this. And this was like Keanu was already, he was big, but he wasn't Matrix big yet, because it's 3 years before the Matrix. This is like post Bill and Ted, post Point Break, post Speed. And it's a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun. It was an hour, like 40 minutes. The pace is great. It just goes. But again, as we're all kids of the 90s, and it's kind of like a slice of life for us that like these movies were what we were born on and born into and stuff like that. So it's definitely a little throwback to like the good old like the poppy popcorn flick of the 90s. So Chain Reaction's a fun movie. So I'm glad my dad showed me that movie the other day. And then for my show, ooh, this is tough. I'm gonna go with a show called The Dropout on Hulu. It's basically about, if you remember Elizabeth Holmes, she created the company Theranos, where she lied. Yeah, right. Remember this? Where she lied about this like blood, where this thing where if it took your blood, it would tell you if you have cancer or tell you all your diseases, whatever. And it was just kind of this like revolutionary thing. But she was a fraud. Like she stole billions, if not trillions of dollars. And
even her voice was fake, which is crazy.
Her voice, her Theranos, like very kind of just like, I talk like this, kind of stuff like that, because she was so inspired by Steve Jobs, and she like loved Steve Jobs, she idolized Steve Jobs, and she was like, in theory, this like Theranos. Like, her voice is very very like and fake. So Amanda Seyfried plays her in this Hulu series. The series is great. It's fast paced. It's very Aaron Sorkin like, David Fincher like, kind of Social Network feel to it for sure. But it just showed how despicable this girl is. Like, she believed in her bullshit and believed in her lies, but she conned so many people, and stole millions and trillions of dollars. Like, she screwed over Walgreens, CVS. I think she lied to people here in Phoenix, but I think Phoenix was kind of like a test area for her like her fake her fake test results, whatever. And the people, again, if you wronged her, she would have you fired, she would have you exiled, but she would fuck them over by having them sign an NDA. So like, even if you wanted to expose her, you couldn't. Like, you really couldn't, because she would just fuck you over. And her husband or boyfriend, forgot, like, he was also corrupt because he was part of it too. But they stole just so much money, and lied to so many people and hurt so many people. But like, she had no remorse. She was like, I don't care. It is what it is. I'm making money. But she was like, she was obsessed with Steve Jobs, with the idea of like innovation and being a CEO. Like, she wanted to be CEO so badly, no matter how many people she hurt and how much she lied about everything. She stole people's ideas. She hurt them. She lied. She betrayed them. And it's a great series. I'm glad it was a series, not a movie, because I think the series kind of explores like who she was before, who she was up to right when it began, during, and after. And again, she literally had no remorse, no regrets. She was like, it is what it is. So it's a good show. It's on Hulu. I think it's like 8 episodes, I want to say. Let me see. It's on Hulu. It's definitely a good binge for sure. It's a miniseries. Yeah, 8 episodes, about an hour each episode. But man, it just showed how power hungry this girl was, and how she wanted just nothing, wanted to screw people over and just be rich. And it's a crazy character study of how like one person's like ego just ruins so many things. So definitely check out The Dropout on Hulu, and Chain Reactions on HBO Max or just Max. So check that out too. So there's our 1-and-1s for this week. Alrighty, my friends. Before we close out officially, Nick, where can the good viewers at home find you on the socials?
So you can find me on YouTube at Dawning Vision, capital D as in Dawning, capital V as in Vision, and on Instagram at Dawning Vision, all lowercase, all one word. And my personal is Ahmad Johnson 98.
All right, Moses, where can our lovely audience find you on the socials?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at MosesLawi _, and you can find me on MySpace too as well.
Hell yeah, bringing it
I was
back,
about
bro.
to stop this whole thing. I was like, yo,
Bring it back, baby. Bring it back.
But you can also find my website there too as well, where you're able to find all of my work that I've done in the past, all the short films that I've done, and except the one that I'm currently working on that's currently out now, which is currently in festivals. Once it's out publicly for the general audience to see, I will update you guys. And thank you so much for listening, like always.
You know what? Before I forget, after the show ends, I will definitely add your website to our link tree and our Instagram bio, so I won't forget. You also find both Nick's award-winning short film as well as Moses' award-winning short film in our link tree on our Instagram. You also find Nick's amazing article he's featured in Essence magazine. So again, support our boys. It's all the links in our link tree and our bio on Instagram, but I'll also be adding Moses's website as well, so I won't forget about that. And you can find me personally on Instagram at The Young Jones, on Twitter or X at Capri Sun, Capri _Sun, SON. And you can find the show socials at Midway Avenue Productions on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Alrighty, my friends, thank you so much for tuning in this week. If you're new to the show, welcome. Hope to have you back next week. To our returning listeners, thanks so much for listening to the show again. We love having you guys on. Go see a good movie, go watch a good show. Hold your loved ones tight. Spread love, spread positivity. Rolling this world for a short time. But thank you so much for listening. As always, my friends, we will see you at the movies.